So at Made Right, we harness fungi to create sustainable materials. Our first product turns industrial waste into recyclable plastic. We're now closing our pre-seed and working on our V1 prototype. So now we are at a rate of consuming 5 grams of microplastics from the food, air, and water surrounding us, which is equivalent to a credit card a week going into our bodies. And like Maury just previously said, the plastic packaging problem is a very big problem. From a business perspective, this is converts to a need to solve for 3 things: the materials we use, the performance of those materials. By performance, I mean the shelf life, and ensuring recycling actually happens. Then we have bioplastics, the supposed solutions. Bioplastics are obtained from renewable resources and or biodegradable or recyclable. Their production requires 65% less energy than conventional plastics, and they solve the life cycle, being either recyclable or compostable. Yet bioplastics cost more, and they fail to meet the industry's requirements, not delivering performance and not hitting scale. And that's exactly where Made Right comes in. At Made Right, we provide a complete solution that perfectly integrates into existing supply chain. We get rid of petrochemicals and make bioplastics natural and durable by producing an additive we call Made Right Shield that enhances the performance of bioplastics, providing a package that extends shelf life. Made Right Shield protects against the 3 leading causes of product spoilage: air, microorganisms, and light. Its source is renewable and does not compete with human nutrition, and it is recyclable. So how do we do it? First, we receive industrial organic waste directly from companies. You can imagine wood chips from IKEA. Then we grow the fungi on the waste, kind of a biorefinery, if you will. The fungi eat it and convert it into biomass. And then through a assay of biotechnological steps, we extract Made Right Shield and fuse it with other bioplastics, creating pellets that are a drop-in solution for current production machinery. And we sell these enhanced pellets to our customers, packaging manufacturers. For the consumer, the product is identical, but it is safe for them and for the environment. And it is also recycled in the same way that consumers already recycle in their home. A little bit about the market. It's a $1 trillion market. Our first segment is cosmetic packaging, focusing on a bioplastic market. And statistics show that we're now producing 120 billion units of personal care cosmetic packaging, most of which is not recycled and reaches the landfill or the oceans. And side by side, we have 230 global brands that made bold commitments to reduce and offset their plastic and carbon footprint. So the demand is huge. Where will our business happen? We're targeting Europe, where we'll actually be competitive because of regulation compared to fossil plastics. And it is the fastest growing market for post-consumer recyclable plastic. And our go-to market targets small to medium cosmetic brands. Our team is made up of experts with strong background in biology, synthetic biology, organic chemistry, and material science, needed to execute on our vision, hand in hand with the business expertise and deep knowledge in the market. Thus far, we've produced the material and characterized its its features bootstrap. We are now developing our unique recipe to create the pellets, and we'll have the prototype within 1 year. And within a year and a half, we want to have a pilot at an industrial setting, having all the needed regulation and certification to go to market.
Time is up. Sorry, I forgot to give you the 1 minute warning.
And that was the last.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing what you guys are doing and clarifying a little bit more. So you're basically creating the additive to then allow the bioplastics to perform better.
Exactly so.
Very cool. Do you want to kick things off, Andrew? Sorry, Aaron. Oh, one of those ones.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the presentation. Could you clarify again, because Matt just asked a question and it kind of confused me a bit. So you're not producing the sort of mushroom plastic yourself, you're producing an additive?
Yes.
Okay. So then your potential customer base will be the people producing the bioplastic?
So we have two revenue streams based on the same technology. One is creating bioplastic pellets. These pellets are sold to our customers, packaging manufacturers. Why would they buy them? Because we have an unprecedented claim where we would be able to put on top of the package that is 100% recyclable.
Okay.
And renewable. Up until now, there has always been a trade-off between performance and sustainability. Now, this is a very strong claim because they can put on, so us as consumers can, at a critical purchase, can see that the brand is investing in sustainability. Up until now, it's only been 40%. The second revenue stream is selling just the additive,
right,
either to bioplastic or fossil plastics. Why is this? Nowadays, only 1% is made from bioplastics and 99% is fossil. So there needs to be some kind of transition phase from fossil to renewable. And we want to help enable the industry to achieve that.
Right, okay, thank you for clarity, understood. It's a bold claim you make, but we've come across quite a few alt plastic companies, and quite a few of them also like to make that claim. Whether they're telling the truth or not is another story, but I guess how can you sort of validate it, especially considering, I guess you guys are quite early at the moment?
Which claim exactly?
The one where you basically, the thing with these alt plastic companies is they always try and hit sort of three buckets. It's often they want to try and hit price parity, they want to hit the functionality, and then they want to be renewable. And most of the time, even though they claim all three, once you do a bit of DD, you find out that they've barely hit maybe 2 out of the 3. So yeah, just curious about your thoughts of, because you guys say you guys are the first, just how are you going to validate that?
Thank you for that question. So basically, other companies are a lot of the times competing with fossil fuel plastics like PE, polyethylene, polypropylene, $1-2 per kilo, right? We're not competing with that. We're competing with petrochemical additives that cost between 10 to 100 and more dollars per kilo. They're very expensive. And we're not the main constituent of the package. So nowadays, bioplastics are already, in some cases, competitive with other fossil-based plastics. Like if you look at bio-based PE, polyethylene, it is really slightly more expensive than normal fossil-based. So essentially, we are only allowing them to be completely renewable. And because regulation in Europe, which I'd love to dive into, why is forcing the manufacturers to care deep in their pockets. That's why we can actually state that we're cost effective.
Right. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Maybe just a follow-up question to that also, because you mentioned some of the material properties as being a UV reflector or protector, oxygen barrier, and also minimizing sort of the impact of microorganisms. So I assume it's a food application you're targeting for the end product.
We're looking, yeah, you're right. We're looking first for cosmetics and then move into food. Exactly.
Okay, and which food types initially?
So for example, coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee is very sensitive to light and very sensitive to oxygen. That's why nowadays a lot of packaging is using laminates. It's using plastic like PE and aluminum. Now these packaging, because it's a couple of materials, are making it not recyclable and very expensive. But the package has to be able to provide the performance to keep the coffee reaching your house and tasting good. So this could be our beachhead in the food sector.
Okay, very clear. What about time to market? How many years and how many millions of dollars do you need to reach commercial scale?
So commercial scale, it's a broad spec. What do you mean? Couple of hundreds or a couple of thousands of metric tons? Could you?
Yeah, whatever you deem is necessary to serve like one of the big FMCGs or packaging manufacturers that you're investing as your core customers. I just saw that your next step is the pilot scale, right? And I assume you need to build out a factory at some point.
Yeah. So we want to build a factory only for the to prove the technology. And then we want to use a CMO model. Also, Matt, this is answering your question that wasn't translated well in the email. And to build the pilot, the commercial pilot capable of doing a couple of hundreds of kilos, we estimate it to be there in costing around $10 million.
Mm-hmm. And how many years?
They're estimated at 4 years.
4 years before you can reach sort of a stage where you can put it to a CMO.
This is proving already commercially, yeah.
Okay.
And because we're not the main constituent of the package, then there isn't such a large burden to reach a lot of the actual product, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the team, who's going to drive the commercialization of the product? It looked like a very technical founding team.
We're going to hire a VP of sales once we reach that milestone.
Thanks.
One question on the feedstock. So you said that it's industrial organic waste. Do you have a preferred source of that waste, or is it just kind of be quite generic?
So we do not have. We do have as a part of what we characterize in our POC in order to materialize it. We used things like the straw and the wood chips, etc. But the important thing to note about fungi is that their natural authority in nature is the grand recyclers, right? They're basically everywhere. You know, they're growing in your fridge, on your cheese, if you want it or not, or on the bread. So that's the kind of manufacturing power we're harnessing. So we have a great flexibility in terms of the different waste streams that we can use.
Perfect. Thank you.
Which probably also makes it very hard to patent and protect your process, because there is a massive manufacturing force of nature kind of trying to do similar things.
We would not write the patent on this. This will remain the know-how of the company, but of the formulations of the actual product, because this also creates a commercially defensible patent and not just a patent.
Understood. What do you view as the biggest risk in the company?
So to reach the commercialization, we need to first have the pilot, like we described previously. And these companies do not like to change the parameters of their huge machines. So this would be the main risk. That's why we've already been in contact with these entities, business entities. They're called plastic compounders within Israel, and also global players like Amcor, one of the biggest companies, to already breach these gaps.
And then what brought you to this? What's your background?
I did a volunteering in Ethiopia. It's a country of 110 million people, and they have no waste infrastructure whatsoever. Nobody comes to pick up the waste, literally no one. So what they do, every family at the end of the day, they do a small plastic pile in front of their house and they burn it. And I had to do it. And it hurt me to do it. And actually, realistically, in Western countries, it's not much better. We just do it in a big factory. But the situation is just really quite horrendous in this aspect. And I think that using biotechnology, we can keep the same high life standards, but not compromise our health and our planet's health. So this is my kind of motivation.
Very cool. Very cool. I think it's a very meaningful motivation.